What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video ahead of round 17. We're sort of nearing the end of the season. We still got, what is it? Is it 7 weeks to go? 8 weeks to go? Something like that. So, still got a few weeks to go. Bit of a weird week, this one, because there's not really an obvious trade-in target. I think that a lot of people are going a lot of different directions. Obviously, we sit at the top there. There's one player, obviously, over 6,500, but the rest of them are sort of fairly even. It's like a lot of players over 1K being brought in and over 500. So very interesting. A lot of coaches going in a few different directions this week, trying to get those final sort of rookies if they've still got a rookie or two on field. And then obviously if you've got all your rookies off field, then you're looking at getting rid of those mid-price and guys that aren't going to be scoring in line with the best 22. So let's get stuck into the most trade in-out players. But as always, before we do, if you are enjoying the content around here, make sure you do smash a big thumbs up on the video. That would be very much appreciated. Target, as always, for the trade talk is 200 likes. So if we get 200 likes on this, that'd be fantastic. And make sure you also subscribe to the channel so we can hit 3K subscribers as soon as we can. So let's get into it. So Lawson Humphries, number one, 12.8K are jumping on him. I think he is the rookie downgrade of choice. Scored 69. Looked pretty good in his debut. So, he went up 33? Yeah, 33K, negative 5 break even. If you've got the extra 33K that you need to get up to him, I'll be doing that. I think traders put it good when they were talking about on the pod that when you're looking at a rookie at this point, I think you're looking at guys that are either debuting that week or have only played the one game. So I think Humphries is the pick of the guys if you can get to him. Jai Caldwell, 6.4K jumping on him. He's looked fantastic, especially the last 2 weeks, but it's been building. The last 4 weeks, his time on ground's been going up. He's gone up a lot of cash as well. He's now 851K. Like from rounds 1 through to round 11, his time on ground was anywhere from, a lowest of 68% removing that was an injured game there. So 68% was his lowest and a high of only 78% in round 3. But then you got everything was 75 essentially or below with that 76 there. But it's the last 4 weeks where it's had back-to-back 79% and then the last 2 was 86 and 87%. So it's a clear change in terms of they're trying to get him on the field more, which is fantastic. And his scoring's reflecting it now. He's now gone in all those games where he's played at least 79% game time. He's gone over 94 in every game. And obviously 3 of those have been tons and the last 2 have been big tons as well. So he's really elevated himself into those top 4 forwards. I think he's clearly in the top 4 now. And there's an argument to be made that he could even be in the top 3 if you're looking at sort of his run. Like his run, he's got Collingwood, Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda in his next month. Like that's really good matchups. And then he finishes the year after that with Freo, Gold Coast, Sydney and Brisbane. Sydney-Brisbane, a bit harder, but Freo Gold Coast is okay. He's tackling a lot as well. Has had at least 8 in his last 4 games. So, for me, he is a very, very good option if you don't have him. And because he's got a 52 break even, you need to jump on now. Because if you don't this week and he goes another 110, 120 plus score, it's going to be like 900K. So you're going to want to jump on him. So I really like him as an option. Andy Manise Wakefield is next. So I guess if you don't have the extra 9K to get to Lawson Humphries, then Manise Wakefield could be your guy. 57 on debut, looked okay. Obviously, Melbourne lost the game, so there is a chance that he might be dropped. I think Melbourne have got a few guys coming back, so I would prefer Lawson Humphries because he looked good, and I think there's a chance he holds his spot, whereas Manise Wakefield could be potentially dropped this week with a few guys come back from Melbourne. So just something to watch. But again, if he's named and you can't get to Humphries, then I'd be fine jumping in at Manise Wakefield, especially if you need a forward, because obviously Humphries is a defender mid, so it depends what you need. Connor Rosique, 3.1K jumping on. I still like it. He's 714K. I believe that one of the injured games dropped out of his price cycle. So, so the 51 dropped out of his price cycle. It's still in his price cycle because this is last 5. So 51, 43, 72, 115, 95. But after this week, that 51 will drop off, and then the week after that 43 will drop off. 69 break even. He's not going to get any cheaper than what he is currently now. So if you're jumping on, it's got to be. He actually went up 9K on the weekend, but he's not getting any cheaper. So you're going to want to jump on now. I think again, just presents incredible value. So I'd be jumping on if you don't have him. And Again, if you're up the top and you don't need a midfield that's priced cheaply, then you don't need to go for Rosie. But I think a lot of the comp are going to be looking at a guy like Connor Rosie just sort of as a final upgrade, or an easy upgrade from a Tom Powell or a cheap mid-price or a Simpkin, if you've got some DPP with those guys. So, yeah, Connor Rosie, I do like. Josh Dunkley, yep, it would have been fantastic if we brought him in last week, wouldn't it? 158, looked fantastic. Got a good history against Melbourne as well. And he definitely cashed in. That's now back-to-back scores of 118, 158. He had 3 low scores before that, but besides that, he only had the 1 score of the 90, and he's been over 100 in every other game. So I think he's a really good option. Got a good next 2 in Adelaide and then West Coast. Sydney, bit tricky. Gold Coast, then he's got St Kilda, Giants, Collingwood, Essendon to finish the year. So we're going to want him in our team. So if you can bring him in now, it's best you probably do because his break-even is just a 78. So, yep, I do like Josh Dunkley as a trade-in this week. Isaac Rankin, really interesting one. His score's been great. Obviously, as a Crows fan, he's been watching him closely. He's been playing fantastic footy. But in saying that, everyone knows he's playing fantastic footy now. Well, not if no one knew he was playing fantastic footy, now they do. He essentially took that game away from GWS on the weekend with his first half. Had 21 disposals and kicked 2 goals too. Had a quiet second half. Only had the 6 disposals and only had the 1 scoring shot. So he did get clamped a bit more in that second half. His last 4 scores, 104, 99, 86, 115 have been great. And he only had the 66 against Port, but then he got a 94 before that. So he's been fairly consistent. Every game he's been over. He's only had the 2 games below 70 this year, and he started a bit slower, but obviously the more midfield time he's got, he's just continued to get more points. So I don't mind him. I just worry those next 4. Brisbane could get Jared Berry. Then he goes into St Kilda. I would say that Windhager will go to him there. Essendon, I think Caldwell could run with him. Then a Connor Nash. Then a Blitzarves or an O'Connor or a Mullen or an Atkins or whoever they want to tag him there. His last 3, though, Dogs, he's not probably going to get tagged, but Dogs aren't necessarily easy matchup. Port could cop Willem Drew, and Port aren't obviously easy. Then he's got Sydney, which could be a James Jordan tag. So it's actually a really tough run for Rankin to finish the year. So I'm not as keen to jump on him. I know he's got a low break even, but he is 771. I just think there are other guys that aren't tag risks in the forward line, and I feel like he could drop a couple of low scores there. So for me, I wouldn't worry about it. He's been good. If you got him in draft, then great, but I'd probably look at other targets, if I'm being honest. So for me, not quite on board with Rankin, but he's obviously been going great. So I could definitely see why people are looking at him. Kyle McKercher, obviously there's murmurings that he's probably going to get named this week. So if he gets named, he's an option. He's under 600k. If he gets your final rookie off the field, I wouldn't advise, it's not for everyone, because at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to come in and play 80, 85% game time and just get a full workload. I think he's going to be eased in. I wouldn't be shocked if they made him the starting sub maybe in the first game. So I probably wouldn't worry about it this time of year. Obviously, there are some coaches that might have to go to him, and he's not a bad option if that's the best you can get to. But I think for a lot of other coaches, I don't think you have to go down to him. I think there are better options that are like Rosie's, just over 100k more expensive than him. So I'd rather go like a Rosie or something. So not for everyone, but it might be beneficial for some coaches to jump on him. Logan Evans is a bit more expensive now. He's up at, 270 or something? Yeah, 287. I know he's got a negative 11 break-in. If you need cash gen badly and you don't have much cash on the bench at all, then I definitely could see why you go for a Logan Evans or even Ari Shellmaker. But for most coaches that have cash gen's okay, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd save the 50k, 80k, whatever it is, to get a rookie that's cheaper, or get a Humphreys or a Menzies Wakefield instead, and save a bit of cash. Because at the end of the day, we want the cash on the field, so we get more points. So for me, I don't think you don't have to go for Logan Evans this week. And then Lockie Whitfield. I'd love to say jump on him, but Carlton will get Chincotta. I think you can wait 1 week. His break even is low. It is at, 62. So if he does get to a 90 or 100, he's still going to go up a bit. I just think you could wait a week. He's not going to go a crazy amount unless he doesn't get a tag, which I'd see unlikely. But then after that, his run finished is very good. Richmond, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Hawthorn, Brisbane, Freo, and Bulldogs. I'm just trying to think. There's not really looking at here, there's not really a tag that I can really see that would go to him. Maybe a Nick Holman in this game here, but I don't know if maybe a Neil Bullen tags him there. But besides that, most of the other games I think are good, and he's shown that he can work through a tag the last few weeks. So for me, I think he's still a good option. If you want to bring him in this week, just obviously don't expect a 140 or a 130 again. I should say 160 again, but could be a solid option. He is a solid option. Just he won't score, I don't think, as well this week. And then, wait, is that the top 10? So 2, 4, 6, 8. No, so Will Lorenz is the 10th most trading player. So I normally try and do the top 10 and then I'll make a few comments about others. But Will Lorenz, I thought he looked quite good in that last quarter. Got a bit of it. Scored 25 points in, I think, was it just over a quarter footy? So, again, look, if he's named and he's not the sub, 201k, that's the sort of guy that I think you go for at this time of year. So for me, Lorenz could be a good option if he's not the sub. So something to watch. The question is, when do they play? I'm not exactly sure when they play in the round. I'm hoping they play in the first half because then we can... Yeah, cool. He plays the first game on the Saturday, so you'll be able to get a good look at and see if he's subbing. If he's not, he's a good option, I think. So, yeah, so that's the top 10. Then looking for the others, Zorko, yep, good option. He's at the Gabba this week. Got the Crows. We saw what Whitfield did last week, and Zorko goes very, very well at the Gabba. So Zorko's a good option if you don't have him. Tom Stewart, full-time mid last week, which was surprising. So if that role stays, very good option. But I think even still, if it doesn't, it's got a good run to finish the year. 689. He's cheap. Obviously, he's not going to be any cheaper, I don't think. So he's got, Hawthorn, Collingwood, Bulldogs, North. Really good month coming up. He's got Adelaide, Freo, St Kilda, West Coast. Great sort of 8 weeks to finish the year. So for me, Stewart, I really like under 700k, and he's a guy I might even bring in next week, depending on what his role is, if I can't get up to anyone else. So, Stewart, definitely one I'll be looking at. Caleb Sarong, got a good run coming up. Richmond this week, he went 141 against them. So, I like him. Sinclair, probably not this week. He's got Sydney. I expect James Jordan to go to him, so I wouldn't be looking at Sinclair this week, but looked good last week and could be an option over the next few weeks. Bont got Port, Drew to go to him, but I feel like Bont's one of those players that when you get the chance to get Bont in, you just bring him in. You don't worry about a tag because he can just work through a tag and score 110s, 120s anyway. So for me, he's a good option. Showmaker, similar to what I said with Logan Evans. If you desperately need cash and you don't have him, you can jump on. But I think saving cash for rookies is a bit more important. And then Dylan Moore as well, solid option. I like him. I'd probably prefer him over Rankin personally, just because Moore's not going to get the tag and he's got that ceiling as well. Whereas Rankin played one of his best games I've seen him play, and he only got to 115, whereas Moore can have a solid game and still get a 110, 120. So, I think Moore's probably got a lower floor, but obviously then if Rankin gets tagged, you might have a lower floor. So, but very interesting. And then Graham Myers is one that we didn't see there, but I'd almost rather him over Rankin because he's not going to get tagged either. Perfect. We'll move on to the most traded out players of the week. So, again, I think this will be pretty quick. A lot of these I agree with as well. Jai Clark, rookie. Yep, time to go. Zach Fisher, I'd be waiting. If he's named, I wouldn't be trading. But if he's out, he's obviously a must-trade. So, it's pretty much as simple as that. If he plays, I wouldn't trade him. If he doesn't play, he's a trade. Hayden Young, interesting conversation with him. I just think with Richmond this week, I think you've got to give him another game. I know his break-in's 140. Some people's teams might be in really good positions that they can take that punt of going him up to someone they don't have, like a Newman or a Holmes or someone. But I think with Richmond, Hawthorn and Melbourne in the next 3, I'd just be holding. I think they're good matchups. It was his first real bad score of the season. I think that was his first score actually below 70 for the year. And we know every player is bound to have a really bad game. So 75 was in round 2. Yes, that was his only score below 80 in round 2, with 75. That was, and on the weekend, it was his only score below 75. So really being really consistent. A lot of tons in there as well. As I said, Richmond, Hawthorn, Melbourne, West Coast, Essendon, Geelong. I wouldn't be trading. Maybe the last 2 weeks you could look at jumping off with Giants and Port, but for now, I'd be holding because at the end of the day, if he gets to 60 again, he'll go down, but you can always trade him next week. So for me, I'd be holding. Harrison, can go. He's done his job. Freya's done his job. McAuliffe is obviously dropping in price now, but and you can get rid of him if he's not as expensive as your other rookies, but if going him down gets you the upgrade you want, he can go. Simpkin can go. You got a 62 on the weekend. or was it 63 or something? He got like a low 60 score anyway, 64. So yeah, for me, if he's your worst problem, I'd be happy to trade. I don't think there's any use keeping him if you've got all your rookies off field and he's your worst player. Bruce Revel's been great, been a very, very good rookie, averaging 62. But again, you can cash him in. He's at a good price now. Wilson obviously dropped a really bad score again on the weekend. So if you didn't trade him already, he's a guy that I'll be trading. Sullivan, same thing. Closey, same thing. Just, again, all these guys can go. Sexton, again, worst issue. You could trade. He's got North this week, and he's got a tough run after that. So you could trade. I just feel like I'd give him at least another week to see how it goes again. If he goes another 70 or even a low 80 score, then you could probably trade still. But he could easily go 90, 100 this week, and I wouldn't be shocked, especially if Flanders is playing midfield again, which it looks like that's going to be the case. So for me, Sexton I'll be holding. But again, if he's your worst issue, he can go. Dean can go. Boak, if he's your worst issue, he can go. Pink, Powell, Thomas can all go. Richards I'd probably almost hold for a week because you can probably loop him. Especially if you've got a couple of, like if you might have a Powell or a Boak or a Simpkin, you've got a couple of those guys, then maybe you can loop a Richards on a Friday night if he's not the sub. But if he's a sub, he can go. Ridley dropped a poor score. You can probably sideways him to a good defender as well. Logan Morris, all these guys, yeah, all of them can go. So even a Chris, like, his score dropped, he could realistically go. But again, that's probably a more luxury trade than all the other guys above him. So, yeah, that's what I'd be doing with those guys there. So, but yeah, my top 5 targets of the week. Again, very hard week to sort of do top 5 targets. But I guess for people that don't have him, number 1 would be Jai Caldwell. Just because if you don't have him, 851, his game time's been high. Good run to come. I'd be targeting him. Number 2, I'll probably say Connor Rozee again because a lot of people are going to be shopping for a cheap premium and he is that player. So I think he just presents a lot of value, so to have him at 2. I think that Josh Dunkley would be number 3. I think, again, he's putting up good scores. He's only 920. He dropped a bit. You're going to want to jump on because he drops another big score this week. It's going to be hard to bring him in. So for me, he's never going to get tagged either. Crows are a good matchup. Back at the Gabba. Well, not back at the Gabba, but at the Gabba again. So for me, I'd be targeting Dunkley at 3. Number 4, I would probably say like a Caleb Sarong, to be honest, at number 4, because I know he hasn't been great last few weeks, but he's got Richmond and he's got a good run after that. I think could easily put up a 120 plus score this week. So for me, Sarong would be my number 4 pick. And then number 5, again, there are so many guys you could bring in this week. If I had to pick one, I'll go with, let's go Tom Stewart, because a lot of people, again, are shopping in that area. So we'll say Tom Stewart, number 5, just because the value he presents, well, under 700k if you need a defender that potentially could play midfield and has got a good run anyway, I'd target him. But again, a lot of good options this week. Again, if you need rookies, there's rookies there. As I said, you got like a Bont is still a good option. Dylan Moore, Sam Walsh could cop a Bedford tag, but still you could look at him. Myers a good option. Dacos, Green, even a Newman is still a really good option. Yeah, just a lot of good options. Max Holmes there as well, who I do like. So yeah, plenty of good option to consider. And a bit of a hard week to sort of do my top 5, but that would be my top 5 there. So my trades for the week, they haven't really changed from, I said them on the pod, said them on the Q&A last night, and they're probably still the same. I'll be going Jai Clark down to just a basement rookie. There's like a Will Lorenz if he gets named and he's not the sub. Zach Taylor from the Crows. There's a few guys that are just over, but it's got to be below, I think, 213k. Or 211 or something like that. It's got to be a cheap rookie or a basement. To do my other upgrade, which is going Toby Green up to Andrew Brayshaw, who I was mentioning about Sarong with that good run. Brayshaw, I feel, could be a good sort of pod for me to hopefully get towards that top 100 and catch up some of those points I've lost over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, Brayshaw coming in for me. If Zach Fisher is out, I'll probably be bringing in Josh Dunkley. I'll just be paying for him. He's got the Crows this week. Expect a big score there. So if Fisher's out, I've got the extra cash. I'll just grab Josh Dunkley from Zach Fisher, and then we move to the following week. But hopefully Fisher plays. Toby Green can go this week, and then Will Power can go next week, and then I've got pretty much all the players that I wanted to trade by now out of the team. So But yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys are doing with your trades in round 17. If you've got any trade questions, of course, leave them in the comments and I'll get to answering those when I can. Also, if you do have a question and you'd like to ask me on Q, then head over to Ask Me on Q, spelt QU.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. You can add images now, so you can put screenshots of your team, so it makes it real nice and easy. You don't have to worry about typing out, but you can type it out if you want as well, if you'd like to, if that you prefer to do that. But you can type it out. Anything you can put through your whole team dependent questions, just general trade questions, captain, vice captain questions, draft questions, any questions, you can send them through there. There's categories there you can and select all that stuff. And I'll send you an audio response there. Go straight to email, and it gives a lot more of an in-depth answer to your question than what I could give you in the comment section or as an individual sort of message on the socials. So, yep. So if you want to hit that up, then yeah, and help support the channel, because there is a small fee there. As I said, it does help support the channel, but also gives you an in-depth response in return. So if you'd like to do that, then the link's in the description below at the very top, so you cannot miss it. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash a like on the video. 200 is the goal there. And then also make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're back tomorrow for our captain's video, Friday for our pre-lockout chat at the usual time of 6 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Western Standard Time. And then we got the watch along. Will be live on Friday night this week as well for Essendon Collingwood. So looking forward to that. And then we're also going to be live on Saturday. So we're actually going to be doing a double header watch along this week. We're going to be doing one of Giants and Carlton or Freo Richmond. I'm leaning Freo Richmond because I'll be bringing in Brayshaw. But if people want the Giants Carlton game, then we can do that as well. So yeah, make sure you guys tune in on Friday and Saturday night for those watch alongs. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in as always, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for the captain's video. So thanks guys for tuning in. I'll catch you then. I'm out. Cheers.